The next part of our programme is to introduce two very important movers and shakers in terms of this event today. Julia Wilkinson and Claire O'Shea. So Julia works in Carmarthenshire for County Council and Health Board. So her role involves supporting older people with physical disabilities and sensory impairments. As the county lead for prevention and early intervention, she has established a number of important initiatives. Carmarthenshire is kind, so that's a big initiative for today. Also the CUSP project, and no doubt Julia will explain what that's about today, but CUSP is a significant part of how the voluntary sector can help older people to keep them out of hospital, reintegrate them back into communities and so on. And also another very important initiative, social prescribing, which is being rolled out or piloted in Blynyddol. So it's a great pleasure now to introduce Julia, and I think in turn she will perhaps introduce her colleague, Claire O'Shea, who is not from Carmarthenshire, but she is very welcome here, and she has been here on a number of occasions. So a very warm welcome to both Julia and Claire.
Thank you very much for that. That was a very lovely introduction. I'm feeling very important here about all these great initiatives. But the reason I'm here today is really to ask you for your help. We've had a lot about what the local authority is doing, what the health board is doing, and the third sector are doing. What I would like to do is ask all of you as really important members of our community to really start to think about the difference that kindness can make in our community. We've had a lot of talk around how we want Wales to really lead the world, and actually what we're doing in Carmarthenshire about taking an opportunity of the difference that kindness can make, we are really starting to lead the world. We launched Carmarthenshire is Kind about a year ago, and since then a lot of people are really interested in the differences that we're trying to make. And in fact, it's gone to America. Cleveland is kind. But you don't have to come from a city or a place that begins with C. We are hoping it's going to go to Swansea, Cardiff, across the world. So if I tell you a little bit about what Carmarthenshire is Kind is and what we are trying to do to make that difference. So Jane told you a little bit about the effects of loneliness and the way that we are trying to work differently in social care and health. And I do represent here health and social care. We work with older people and people who need support in the community, and not only our laws, our legislation, but the way we work, our staff, our people, we know that we've started to do something differently. We ask people, what matters to you actually to live a good life? And you know what really makes a difference in living a good life is having friends, doing the things you like, doing the things that you enjoy. And what we in the local authority and health are trying to do now is recognise what's really important in our community, what's really important about living well. And in that, we are doing lots of different projects, and we are not delivering those projects. We're asking you, as real champions in our community, to do it with us. So, Peter mentioned the CUSP project. CUSP stands for Carmarthenshire's United Support Project. And that is based on research that comes from older people and says about when they feel maybe they're tipping over the cusp of really going into crisis. And often it's not one big thing, it's lots of little things. So maybe you can't actually manage your garden anymore, it's getting out of control. Or you're having difficulty, you're feeling lonely, difficulty with transport, not able to get out anymore. And so CUSP is the third sector, led by our CVC, CAVs in Carmarthenshire, and all our really vibrant, strong third sector organisations that we've got, who have come together and said, we're all going to work in collaboration to really work together. We're not just going to look at one aspect of support. We're not just going to look at adaptations around the home with care and repair. We're also going to look at maybe you need some help in the garden. We ask Age Cymru to come in and support around digital inclusion or advocacy. So we've got a really good, vibrant, strong connection in the third sector to support people. But what overwhelmingly was coming across was around really living a good life, feeling part of a community. And do you know what really makes a difference there? Just those simple things about being kind, about somebody smiling at you in the street, your neighbour just checking on who you are. And so in Carmarthenshire, what we've tried to do here is start a movement of kindness that doesn't come from the local authority, that doesn't come from health, it's got to come from you. So I'm going to ask you to do something now. I'm going to ask you to look at somebody you don't know in this audience, and you know what? Just smile at them. And I am going to ask you to do it. Could you do that now? Just look at somebody and smile at them. Do you know what? I heard lots of laughter, lots of lovely smiling faces, and do you know, that is really as simple as what Carmarthenshire is Kind is about. So Jane mentioned what the structure of the project is. Many of you here are dementia friends. You go through a 50-minute awareness session around what the key messages are to support people living with dementia and their families. Carmarthenshire is Kind is a 40 to 50-minute awareness session where we ask you to become a Carmarthenshire friend. And it doesn't have to be difficult, you know? All you have to do is pledge to one act of kindness. And if that puts you off being kind, then you don't have to do it ever again. But, as one of the messages says, kindness is contagious. And so once it starts, it is a ripple effect. And that kindness will spread to our communities and to everybody that we live with. And do you know what? That makes a massive difference. It's not just a difference to older people, it's a difference for younger people. You know, we think about all the issues that we have in our schools around younger people feeling isolated and lonely. It's not just older people that feel isolated and lonely, younger people do too. So what can we do? To the mic, can you hear me? So what can we do to really connect people? And what we can do is very simple. I'm going to read a quote here. I really like the quote that was said earlier. So I'm going to say a quote here from the Dalai Lama, and I am going to share his words. He says, if you want others to be happy, practice kindness. If you want to be happy, practice kindness. And that's what our message is. Please come to our awareness sessions, be a champion in the community to spread that message of kindness. We're having a lot of support from local authority, from health, and also our local councillors. We've got a group set up across the local authority, not just in older people services, across housing, across leisure, to really start to spread the kindness message. And all our local councillors are also, and our county councillors, are signed up to make Carmarthenshire a kind county. So please, all of you, please, come to our awareness session this afternoon, be those champions, be those people in the community that we look to really make the change that you want to make in the world. Start spreading that message of kindness. A lot of this project has been inspired by the work of the Campaign to End Loneliness, and about the research that has said older people are saying that kindness really makes a difference in alleviating loneliness, in creating connections, making them feel strong and letting them live well. So I'm just going to very briefly introduce you to Claire that we've developed this work with. And Claire is from the Campaign to End Loneliness. And I know that they are really part of really spreading that message of kindness and looking to you as our community champions to start spreading that word and start making Carmarthenshire kind.
Thank you. Normally I say I'm in a really privileged position of living, breathing, working in loneliness 365 days a year, but now I've got nothing left to say because Carmarthenshire and the people working in Carmarthenshire are doing such a fabulous job at addressing the issue of loneliness. I've been thoroughly impressed. When I came to start working here, I thought I was going to have to start the conversations, and I haven't. I've been overwhelmed by how good the work has been. There's a leading researcher called John Cacioppo. I don't know how many of you will have heard of him. He sadly died last year, but he really started the conversations happening about loneliness. He said that loneliness makes our own thinking more self-centred, caustic and distant. Responses made with this mindset can easily provoke the rejection that we most fear, causing a self-fulfilling feedback loop. This is the catch-22 of loneliness. To escape it, we need other people. But the emotion itself impairs our ability to attract them. And that summarises exactly what Carmarthenshire is Kind is all about. When you're suffering with loneliness, you can't always see the way out of loneliness. It takes other people to help you pull through. So I just want to congratulate you all on doing a brilliant job. I also don't want to be the person that holds Hugh Aranka Davis up, because I've seen he's arrived at the back of the room. That would be awkward. But just to say the campaign's been working on the issue of loneliness since 2011. We've got a huge research and policy database, which can often make me a bit boring, so I try to avoid talking about it. But we have been lucky enough to be commissioned to work in Carmarthenshire for 4 years. I'm in my second year now. We're looking at the very specific issue of loneliness in rural and isolated communities and exactly how complex that can be and all of the different causes, and we want to try and find solutions so we can catalyse, elevate and celebrate what's happening in Carmarthenshire across the rest of the UK and, like Julia said, potentially across the world. It is a worldwide movement at the moment and it's really great to see Carmarthenshire at the forefront of that. I will be around for the next few hours, so if you want to come and catch me and talk about loneliness, an exciting topic I know, feel free, I will be around. Thank you very much.